Hi guys, it's Colette, and today we're going to be working on this candy cane reciprocal gradient, the 10th design in my 12 Days of Christmas series. If you like nail art and would like to see the rest of the series, be sure you're subscribed to my channel, My Simple Little Pleasures, and if you'd like to see how I did this design, just stay tuned. Starting out with clean, dry nails, I'm going to begin with a base coat. I'm using Ready for Takeoff, which is a peel-off base, and you can use whichever is your personal favorite. The colors I'll be using today are both from Zoya. The red is Elisa, and the white is Purity. I'll also be using Purity as the base for the gradient, but I couldn't really decide which color I wanted the non-accent nails to be. So I decided to give you guys a look at both. I'll be doing my left hand white and my right hand red. Before I get started with the gradient, I'm going to protect around my nails with Simply Peel. And for those of you who were getting very upset with my brush, I did replace it because when I went to clean it, my old brush just kind of came apart. But luckily, I had a backup. I predict it will be back to a disgusting state really fast. I feel like sponging is a little bit easier for me when the sponge is appropriately sized to the nail. So as you can see here, this is quite a bit wider than I need it to be. I'm going to be sponging vertically, so red on one side, white on the other. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and go ahead and cut off that side of the sponge there. And now, still a little bit wider. Might just trim off actually a little bit more because the sponge will also swell once it gets some nail polish on it, but that should make things easier. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply white on about half of it and red on the other half, and just get to sponging like normal. I'm going to try and move it back and forth just a very little bit. We want to keep this gradient pretty tight because otherwise we're not going to have a red and white gradient. We're going to have a red, pink, and white gradient. Moving on to the second half of the gradient. I know you guys have heard me complain a lot about my super cheap vinyls that I got on Amazon, but I was recently able to get some vinyls from What's Up Nails during their Christmas sale, and they arrived in time for me to do this manicure. So what we have here is a strip of the wide, straight vinyls that I've cut in half because I only need a small amount of them, and I went ahead and kind of got them started here. What I'm going to do is actually pick up a couple at a time, if it lets me, and lay them down all next to each other on the nail, with the idea being that I want to keep the spacing consistent. So I'm going to try and line this up with the tip of my nail and just kind of lay them on there. I need just like a couple more, but I think I'll start out by then removing, let's see here. Let's put this one at the tip, then remove this next one. Ooh, and I maybe should have waited a little bit longer for that top coat to help me out. Just try and not stick them on here too hard. Then lay that next one down, and the last one down, and peel the one in between off. And stick that back on the sheet. And then I think I want to line one more up here and cover up just this tiny bit at the cuticle and remove that. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that on my other nail. Try and make sure they're straight too, and then I'm going to move on to sponging again. I adjusted the vinyls a little bit. I didn't like the really small section that I had at the cuticle, and I realized it was overhanging a little bit at the tip, so I just shifted it down a little bit and got rid of that last section. And then I added some Simply Peel around the outside, which I literally almost forgot, which I actually did last year. And now I'm going to move on to the second round of sponging. I'm going to start with a new sponge. The first one is pretty dried out, and you don't really want to reuse it at that point. And the only difference between this time and the first time is that I'm going to switch the sides that the colors were on. And get this red on here, you'll see what I mean. So, since the red was kind of toward the inside of my finger the first time, now I'm going to flip it around and do it on the outside. Now, after the last round of sponging, you're going to want to remove the latex and the tape. And I'm really not sure if I maybe should have done this in the opposite order. If you use these two together, maybe let me know what your preference is, but it seems to have worked out okay. And now I'm just going to peel off the vinyls and finish the other accent nail. So the vinyls came off pretty clean. I have a couple spots where I had a little polish seeping under them, and because I did put a top coat on top of the first gradient, I'm going to actually try to clean it up a little bit. So like right here where the white leaked over, I'm just going to very carefully with polish remover clean that up. And once I finish those little delicate corrections, finish cleaning up around the edge of the nail. finally, I'm going to finish off with one more coat of Seche Vite. So here's the finished manicure, and I really like how it turned out. I was originally wanting to do the reciprocal gradient on all my nails, but I have a lot of other things to do, and since I'm only going to be wearing this for one day, I felt like I really just couldn't justify putting that much time into it and turned it into just an accent nail. But I actually really like how it turned out as an accent nail. And at first I couldn't decide if I preferred the white or if I preferred the red, but at this point I'm pretty strongly leaning toward the red. So definitely let me know down in the comments which hand you prefer, the white or the red. And at some point in the last few days, we've kind of transitioned into the advanced section of the series. And the final 2 days we'll be capping off with a Drip Drop Blobicure and, of course, water marble. So make sure you have your notifications turned on so you don't miss anything. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And as always, thanks for watching. Kinda sad to remove this manicure, but excited to be moving into the real home stretch of the series. So I hope you guys enjoy the peel.